In Japan, it's bonsai. In China, it's penjing. And here in the United States, there's a growing fascination with these small wonders of nature crafted by man. Here's Rita Braver.
In the midst of our noisy, jet-propelled, constantly connected universe, you might want to consider bonsai.
Draws you in.
It's trees, yes, but the beauty of it is art.
They're important to me. I care.
Bonsai is a Japanese term that literally means a plant in a shallow pot. But that's just for starters.
Bonsai is an artistic representation of nature in miniature. Movement, flow, color, all of these elements and more help to make up a bonsai.
Jack Sustic is the curator of the bonsai collection at the National Arboretum in Washington. It was started in 1976 with a gift from the Japanese people.
This tree is a 200-year-old red pine. The Emperor of Japan donated it.
Nearby is this Japanese white pine that's been cultivated, or in training as bonsai insiders call it, for almost 400 years. The trees are constantly watered, pruned, and even wired into position, a process that requires infinite patience.
They're not special trees. Many people think that they're a special kind of tree that bonsai is. Bonsai really is the technique that's applied to these trees. You can use most any plant that has a woody trunk for a bonsai.
Historians believe that bonsai developed as a popular art in Japan as far back as 700 years ago. But there's evidence that it all began in China some 1,500 years earlier. The more elaborate Chinese style is called panxing.
It's a whole landscape scene. You have the men in their boats, the mountains, the white marble slab represents water.
And they introduce these little tiny characters.
And in bonsai, that wouldn't be the case. In bonsai, it would just be the tree.
They wouldn't like to see little figurines.
No.
It's the simpler Japanese style that's become popular in the U.S. Introduced to many Americans by Pat Morita's character in the 1984 film The Karate Kid.
I think it's so small. I dream.
But the man known as the father of American bonsai was the late John Naka, one of a small group of Japanese Americans who practiced bonsai in pre-World War II California.
John was really the first person in that group to say that anybody could do bonsai. In fact, he's quoted as saying there are no borders in bonsai. So he started teaching everyone. And of course, World War II had an influence also with our exposure to Japan.
35 years ago, Felix Laughlin was a tax lawyer whose wife insisted he needed a hobby.
She said, you're working 7 days a week, night and day. You need something else in your life. And she's regretted this ever since, because she's become a bonsai widow.
Laughlin is now the president of the National Bonsai Foundation and has a whole Virginia farm to hold his collection of 200 trees.
These guys right here, I put these together maybe 20 years ago, and then these are cuttings from these trees. So these are the parent, and these are the children.
And take it from a former workaholic lawyer.
It's one of those things that if you do it right, it will always be better the next year. It'll just look more beautiful.
Transforming a small tree can transform your life.